Hello, world. Um, I figured I was going to start with my name. My name is Amanda. I am 22. I have two beautiful children, and I have been engaged for 4 years. I am on SNAP. I am on WIC. My kids are on Medicaid, and we are currently trying to go through and get approved for public housing. Now, that being said, I want to first start this session with things almost every parent should know. The first one, we're going to start while you're pregnant. Your life doesn't end. It's okay. There are circumstances that happen that cause you to be pregnant. There are circumstances where you could cause them to be better too, like using protection condoms are a big one, or even the contraceptive cup for females. Even if you can't afford to use the pill, I get it. Things happen. No one's judging you on here. No one. I am here to offer advice and anything you need. Just because you are having a child doesn't mean your life is going to end. All it means is that something new is going to start. Now, the first thing you need to do while you're pregnant is first look at your income. Depending on what you make a month, see what programs you can get to get help. If you are a person like me, I was actually very against getting food stamps. I was very against getting any type of help. So if you're like I was, go to your friends, go to your family, see who is able to help you first. If it just comes down to the fact that you really can't help afford it. If you really want to keep that baby, then the first things you're going to need to do is look into programs that help mothers and help fathers. Now, I'm not against, say the father wants to keep the child, but the mother does not. Single parenting on a father's side is just as important. There are programs out there like A Woman's Touch. I think it's called something else now. I think it's like AAA Women or something. But they are big on helping. They give you free parenting classes that include CPR help, the dangers of smoking. I'm a smoker myself, so honestly, I see where you are if you're a smoker yourself. They help with the baby classes you can go to for free. You earn programs which you earn points which help you get baby clothes, baby supplies, everything that you could possibly think of, between formula, diapers, wipes, bottle warmers, diaper bags, the whole 9 yards. The second thing you need to do, go to the baby fairs. I cannot stress how important that is. I missed it with my first child, and we were hurting a lot. A lot of friends helped us out and gave us old baby things. But with my son, we went and there are so many free raffles just for showing up that I was pretty much stocked on diapers for about 3 months. It's pretty awesome. Next one is go to Big Wheels to Butterflies. They are really cheap between getting maternity wear, getting kids clothing, kids bedding, kids toys, just about everything your child could want. The next thing I have to tell you about is if you're still with your partner, you need to agree on parenting styles. There are different things. The first one would be punishments. Now, this is a really touchy subject with a lot of people. Firmly, I believe in spanking my child. This isn't for everybody. There's a lot of stigma on this. Now, I want to point out the difference between beating your child and giving them a spanking. If you say your child, a big example, my daughter is 2. She got into her father's cup of tea. It's a glass cup. And while I went into the bathroom, she decided to throw it at the wall. Needless to say, there's broken glass on the floor. There's a big stain on the floor. There's a piece of glass stuck in the wall. My daughter's pretty resourceful for something like that. She got her hand smacked, not hard enough to do anything but leave a small red mark, and she got a small spanking on the butt. All it is just a small amount of pain that tells you, hey, this is wrong. You do the same exact thing with your animals, especially around potty training time. When, say, your dog goes on the carpet, first thing you do is you rub their nose in it and you take them outside. A big thing is a lot of people will swat the dog on the butt, wipe their nose in it, and take him outside. It is essentially the same concept. Animals have feelings the same as human beings do. There is still a difference between beating your child and giving them a spanking. Now, I'm not saying that this is the only means of punishment. I am a very big believer in using just about everything. It depends on what they have done. Say your child, again, my daughter is a good example. She decided to get a marker and color on her brother's face. My son will be 1 in January. She decided to color all over his face. This resulted in her sitting in timeout and being told that that's no and that is wrong. So as I said, it depends on what your child has done. I am not pushing my parenting style on you. I'm saying discover something that works for you. If you believe in spanking your child, that's fine. If you don't believe it and think it's inherently wrong, that's okay too. But do not sit there and yell at somebody else because of how their parenting style differs from yours. One person I will yell at, though, if you are spanking your child hard enough that they have bruises on the bottoms, there's more than a small red mark that lasts for maybe more than 10 minutes, or if arms are getting dislocated, if your child is sitting around in a corner crying their eyes out, you are spanking them too hard and you need to stop. Children are not meant to be beat. They are one of the most important things that should have happened in your life. I don't care what the circumstances were, that child has had no chance to do anything completely wrong. They make mistakes. You made mistakes at that age, and they do not deserve any of that abuse. Now, different things that I have to kind of talk about. I'm going to turn my light on here a moment because it's kind of dark in here. Other things I have to talk about. We're going to start with when children decide to scream for no apparent reason. Yes, the only way a child has to communicate with you at first is to cry. It's the first thing that comes natural to them. That's the only noise they can make. Now, I did a parenting class where they showed you the differences on the cries, like neh would mean hungry, would mean like their stomach's kind of bubbly, they need to be burped, or they just really uncomfortable, they need to fart. It happens. Now, I have heard these things from other babies. I really have. They have their own language. My children, however, seem to speak a completely unique language to themselves. It all goes back to, as you can hear my son crying right now, they're playing, and of course his sister's a little jerk to him at the moment, but it happens throughout the day. The only thing you can do is let him cry for a little bit, check out what's going wrong. First, check what's going on. Say something happened, she threw a toy onto his head. If you make a big deal out of it, like, oh, poor baby, you gotta hug on him, you gotta yell, you gotta hold 9 yards, it's not gonna do anything. The only thing you can do is encourage your children to get back up, play again, and move on. That is one of the biggest learning tools that you can teach your children. It has gotten to the point now where my daughter she's still really clumsy walking. She has tripped, landed on her face, gotten back up, wanted a hug from mom, and then walked on. She decided it was more interesting to her to walk and continue to explore than to sit there and cry. Now, there are days, especially in the early days, your child is going to scream and he's going to cry and she's going to want your attention all day long, and you're going to be pulling your hair out. Trust me. One of the biggest things for females, if you have long hair like I do, put it up in a ponytail. They're going to pull every little hair they possibly can, and it's going to drive you crazy. Now, when your child's young and they're crying, that usually means they want something, yes? Well, if you've tried to give them a bottle, if you've tried to burp them, if you've tried to put them in a swing or cuddled them or change their diaper, if you've tried every single thing you can do and they just want to cry, put them in their bassinet or their crib. Take a step out of the room. If you're a smoker like I am, step outside, have a smoke. Give them about 30 minutes to kind of cry and get their energy out. Sometimes babies are just stressed like we are. They're going to be stressed. Let them get some of that out. Go back later. Try everything again. More often than not, your baby's going to have cried out they're stressed and taken a nap. Second thing I have, children and eating their food. It's never gonna happen. Unless they really like whatever you're feeding them, they're not gonna eat all of their food. Trust me, I've tried. One of the biggest things my daughter likes to do is she likes to sit in her high chair and she'll throw her food down. There's nothing you can do about it, really. I hate to say it, but there's really not too much you can do. You can tell them no. You can tell them don't throw their food. Biggest thing I found that works is just pick up whatever food they threw on the floor, throw it away, and wait. Whenever they're done with their food, they decide they don't want it anymore. Okay, they can get down, let them play. Don't give them any snacks. Don't let them have, you can let them have like a bottle or a drink. Don't give them refills. The next meal, give them their food. And eventually they'll understand that whatever you give them is what they're going to eat. And if they don't want to eat it, then they're going to be hungry. It sounds bad. You are not starving your child. You are not abusing them. You are simply teaching them that what they have is what they need to eat. Because say when they get older, say when they're our age, not everybody can afford to get food. Not everybody can afford to do many things. Even if you work your hardest, you can still struggle. And teaching them to be thankful for what they have is one of the easiest ways to help them avoid stress in the future. Teething. My son is currently teething. His sister got teeth at about 3 months. She had 9 different teeth at 6 months. She got teeth really early. My son just got his teeth in. Just got a tooth, and he is 9 months old right now. There's a lot of different things you can do for teething. One big thing my doctor suggested was to take a normal wash rag, put it in water, put it in your freezer and freeze it. When their teeth are really hurting, let them kind of chew on it and play with it, and it'll entertain them, distract them from the hurt of the teeth, and it'll help numb their gums. Another thing is teething cream. Teething cream works really, really well, especially before nap times and before bedtime. I would avoid using the teething tablets. We use those as well. The teething tablets, sometimes they say that you can use them, however many, and there's no problems. There are problems. If you overuse them more than directed on the bottle, your child has a higher risk of having seizures. Now, having said that, as I said, I have used teething tablets. They work fairly well. It's essentially the same thing as baby Tylenol. You can do baby Tylenol while they're teething. It does help a little bit, but honestly, the teething gel works better. You can buy at the Dollar Trees or Dollar Generals or any real Dollar dollar store. They have gummy little toys that you can freeze, or if you want to, you can heat them up in the microwave. Now, if you heat them up in the microwave, make sure that they're just warm and not hot. You could burn your child's mouth. But a good portion of the time, like my son, he likes them warm, and it helps with his teeth. Chores. No child right off the bat is going to be doing the chores. Okay, let's face it, they're not human working machines. The easiest thing I've been able to do is kind of get them into habits, get them into a routine. My daughter now knows when she goes to bed, and she's 2, mind you. She now knows when it's bedtime. We pick up our toys. We make sure that everything's picked up. We vacuum. She helps me vacuum now. And we get 1 drink, lay down in bed. I'm one of those parents that do let my child have a movie when they go to bed. A lot of people don't think that's all right. It depends on your parenting style. And getting to go, bedtimes are always going to be a difficult problem. The biggest thing I can say is try and get your child into a routine. If you can get them to if you start getting them awake at 8 o'clock in the morning, give them a nap after lunchtime. When they wake up after that nap, I usually give them a snack, and then try to get them to bed about 8 o'clock. A good thing to kind of help with that tire them out is an hour before bedtime, really play with them, pay attention to them, do interactive games, make them think, make them run around, make them get their energy out. And then about, say, maybe 20 minutes before their bedtime, kind of start winding it down, getting them relaxed, even just sitting down and watching TV or reading a book or ABCs, numbers, anything to kind of get them to calm down, then put them to bed. It is hard to get them to go to bed at bedtimes. My daughter is 2 now, and she refuses to sleep in her bed. It's one of the biggest problems I have. Eventually, they will get out of it. She is slowly getting better about this. Children and pets is another big thing. The first thing I would do after you've had your baby, they're going to give you a cap, and they're going to give you a little nose thing. One of those nose aspirators. You just sit there and plunge their nose. It's really funny to think of it as a nose plunger, but that's what it is, okay? Take that home. Let your cat, let your dog, whatever animal you have, kind of smell it and be around it. So when you bring the baby home, it's going to be one of those smells that they've become aware of, that they're more comfortable with. A big thing don't let your animals do. When your baby is sleeping, do not let the animal unsupervised sleep near the child. There's a big danger for that because the animal could potentially smother your child while they're sleeping. It's a big thing to be aware of. My daughter's 2 now, and she has a big habit of pulling the cat's tail, pulling at the whiskers, pulling the hair. The biggest thing you can kind of help with is teach them how to take care of the animal. Have them help you feed them, help them give them water. With cats, don't necessarily let them help you with cat litter yet, because then you run into the problem of them eating cat poop. Trust me, that's not a thing you want to go through. If you've got a dog, have them help you take the dog outside. Teach them responsibility this way. Teach them how to pet the animal, how to behave around the animal. Slowly they get the idea. Now, if you have a cat like mine, she's 18 years old. She's an old cat. When you get the tail pulled or the hair pulled, she has bitten the kids. Don't yell at the animal for this. If the animal is being inherently mean or just aggressive toward the child, put them in another room. Put them in their kennel. That is the animal's alone time. Don't stop giving them affection. They're one of your children too. I know it's difficult, but you can get through this. Temper tantrums. That's a big thing that my daughter does right now. The terrible twos, right? Temper tantrum? Honestly, I don't even bother to give her attention. That sounds like my daughter dropped something on his head. I will continue this in a moment.